We're expecting Martin. We've not had no apologies from him, but he's traditionally late. So hopefully he'll arrive. But we are porous. There are 3 of us here.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone.
Councillors, that is, and 3 members of staff. So are we broadcasting now? Okay, all right. Welcome everybody then to this meeting of this first meeting, face-to-face meeting on the completion subject group this fiscal year. I've got a few things on the agenda. First, I think we ought to congratulate Louise for being appointed interim deputy town clerk. So,
Congratulations.
and obviously, without saying, we are graced with the presence of our soon-to-be official town clerk from Monday on Tuesday as well. So congratulations to you as well. Right, and Bethany, you've changed jobs as well since we last met as well, haven't you?
Very nearly.
Yes.
Yes, I thought so. Congratulations to you too. There you go. So full house, that's brilliant. Okay, folks, thanks for the agenda, Louise. Got that. Right, we do election of chair. Obviously, I'm the chair from last year. Are there any nominations for chair? I saw Margaret first.
I would nominate John Harvey.
Okay.
I would like to second nominating John Harvey, please.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? I don't nominate anybody else. So I guess that's it. Oh, Martin's here. Hello, Martin. Hello, Martin.
He looks as though
We
he's
can't hear
frozen.
you if you are saying anything.
He looks as though he's frozen, actually.
Oh, he's
Oh,
waving. Okay. Shouting. Can't vote, obviously, because you're not here. Okay, well, hands up then to elect a new chair for this week. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so election of vice chair. Currently, Martin is a vice chair. Martin, are you willing to stay as vice chair?
Well, as there's probably no one else, yes.
So I'd like to nominate
Martin Try.
Okay, so Ravina nominates Martin.
I'm happy to say.
Margaret seconds. Okay, hands up in favour of Martin being vice chair. Okay, fine, Martin is vice chair. I'm guessing we therefore have no apologies for absence.
Are there really only 4 of us now?
Yes.
Yeah, Sue Hedrington resigned.
Yeah. Mm.
And right, so no apologies for absence. Declarations of interest in any of the items on the agenda. Again, it's rare that we have this, but I don't think so. Okay, right, we've done that. Meeting notes from previous 2 meetings, November 24th last year, really, right. And also from March the 2nd, previously circulated. Are you happy to decide these as a fair and true record of those proceedings? Yeah. Okay. You're dating as well. The date is the
It's the 20th.
20th. It's one thing, it's just the identity of my. Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on then. Done all the meeting notes. Newsletter review. This is the, thank you, Bethany, for going to that, please. Newsletter review of last time. Have we had any public feedback about the newsletters since we last time?
No.
No, Margaret.
I think 1 or 2 people have commented to me. I think they particularly appreciated the photos on the front, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah, it's good. They're definitely positive comments rather than negative.
There was one query as to which year this was, which we might have put on there, but we didn't.
I don't think we were sure.
From somebody.
I
Ravina?
also had very positive comments about the pictures on the front, especially. People really liked that little nostalgic trip and
Okay.
celebration. So it was all positive from some neighbours and so on.
Should we always put pictures of the Queen on? No, probably not.
And they were very kindly paid for a resident who responded to our requests. So I think it was nice to have some different photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think this is the 90, is it 6? Is
I think it's 96.
Yeah, it is. Because my mum recognised some of the photos.
Oh, okay.
She walked over to go and see as well. So
What all the hullabaloo was about.
yeah, I'm not sure. I think my dad was at work, but my mum definitely would see.
Oh, right, wow, that's a nice link. Right. I was elsewhere in 96. Okay, lovely. Thanks. Any other comments about the ultimate message there? Margaret? No town meeting grant recipients. I think that's nicely laid out, the grant recipients one. A little bit of colour, a little bit of description, everything else. That's good. I like the picture of the actual accessible fishing platform. Although that one doesn't look very accessible.
No, that one's from the previous year, which is.
Okay.
We'll have one of those next year.
Okay. If anyone noticed that, but there we go. Past events, Queen's Park and Jubilee. Yeah, lots of event stuff in there. So the club report. This one's Sculpture Trail. Well, that's coming up, isn't it? Are we announcing that in the?
No, so the Swan Sculpture Trail has been delayed until next year.
Is it?
Yeah, so there were various issues.
Okay.
The main one was that we couldn't get hold of sponsors in time.
Company were having issues sourcing the materials,
Yeah.
which was the biggest problem. I couldn't guarantee a delivery date, so we decided to cancel earlier rather than run out of time.
We couldn't get the materials.
They had really long lead times on everything.
Recycled materials in this country.
Ah, interesting. Okay. All right.
We are having a virtual one this year.
A virtual one. Okay, right. And we've got pictures of everybody. Yeah, I think it looks good. And I think the coding on the back is beginning to be standard now, like virtual and so on. Any other comments about the layout or?
I think it works. It's a lot clearer. You can easily identify each section, what it's about. So I think it works really well. And I particularly like this section at the back. With the photos. We didn't have this before, did we? Yeah.
We usually do photographs of
Were they this big though?
No, I think they're normally smaller.
Yeah, that's why this really stands out in comparison to normal.
yeah.
And presumably you two will be, because you're like Nina changed her role. So is it important? Sorry, that I'm jumping the gun on.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we'll come to that in a second, but yes. It will be well. Okay. That's good. Something I was going to say there. Yeah, is there any way in which we can put something in the magazine that would give us some feedback as to how we would actually read it? Because we have hits on the websites and the social media. We don't have any hits on magazine.
It's a really difficult one to try and do with a paper item, because generally speaking, when you hear from people, is when they think you've got something wrong. Then you get an idea of how many people read it and thought, oh, this is important enough to me that I'm going to contact you about it. If people are happy, they often don't feedback. We can try and do sort of interactivity things, but they haven't worked particularly well in the past. When we put something in and ask them to return it.
Can we put, this might be a little bit devious, but could we put in a QR code maybe somewhere and say, scan this for a special message?
Or a chance to win a water bottle.
I was going to say a brand new car. Which
And the special message could be, thank you very much for scanning this in. This has just given us a measure of how we read this.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's 1-0.
Yeah, and I don't know, a free ticket for something in the future. I don't know.
We certainly could do a QR code that links to a video or a contest, if that's something you'd like to run. What do we think? Contest?
Okay, well let's hold that thought till we come to that section, but let's think about that. That was just a thought that occurred to me. Okay, so the audio version, I never got around to listening to it. Who did it last time?
It's Anya.
Anya. Oh right,
Yeah.
right. Right.
And I didn't listen to all of it, but I listened to some of it and it was very clear.
Okay, good. Good. And delivery was fine as well,
Yes. Yeah,
as far as we know.
There was only one on Mallard Drive actually, who were doing their front sort of garden, if you will, and the person couldn't deliver it, but then I went round and delivered it in a little box that they had at the front, so everyone should have gone.
Okay, well done. Okay, brilliant. Okay, good. Future newsletter. Right, now we can turn to the ideas we've been talking about. First, let's go through the ones that are the usual ones. An autumn events picture for the front cover. Do we have any suggestions on that?
Fireworks night.
The what?
Fireworks night.
Fireworks night?
Always a nice cover.
When's the next one coming out? Dates for us?
End of September. And then the next one after that is end of November.
Oh, so they're quite quick.
They're quite close together.
Could we not, could we have like a beautiful autumnal scene? Or not? And do fireworks, oh no, next one will be Christmas then, wouldn't it?
Too late.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
We haven't got anything from the calendar, either of the calendars or anything like the last year's. Or the year.
We have got autumnal pictures from the previous calendars, so we could look at those as suggestions.
I'm thinking the fireworks you had on the front page before,
That is true.
and we don't need to promote fireworks because everybody gets there about that anyway.
People are starting to change their mind about fireworks night though, because a lot of people have now started saying, you know, is there any need for this? Because animals get scared and pets go ballistic and all that sort of stuff. There was a lot of stuff on social media last year, but I'm not sure whether that would apply to Buckingham or not. But
I would be quite happy with a silent firework display. We didn't have all the bands, but I think sometimes the bands are required
yeah,
to produce the book.
yeah.
No,
No, it's
Without
always been. I mean,
explosion.
I've always been to it. I've always taken my kids to it. But I can completely understand when people have pets and animals that it's not nice for them at all. Especially, I guess the display isn't so bad. It's the random, like the week before and everything, the random people doing it in their back gardens.
That is one of the arguments for
Yeah.
doing a public display, is that it
Yeah.
reduces
Yeah.
the number of smaller displays.
This isn't a discussion for this committee, is it? That's the TCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I think-
maybe not put it on the front cover.
well, yes, yeah, I think what I'm hearing from Marina is let's not promote fireworks because of the controversy. Let's have an autumn and see.
We've got
Yeah.
some nice river rinse photos as well.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Well, have you got any without Robin in?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he does appear in all of them usually. I think that one, the one
There you go.
sitting on the.
Sitting room sound off.
So what was that, Martin? Martin, I didn't hear what you said, Martin.
I do apologise. I muted my speaker and not my microphone.
Okay. I wish I could mute my microphone, but anyway. Speaker. Okay, fine. Just jump in if you need to say anything, okay? Because I won't see you waving because you're occupying about 1% of my visual range.
Well, I'm sure Louise or Bethany can update that.
Okay, all right. Put a hand up or something. We'll work it out anyway.
Definitely, you won't. That might be easier than you can see.
No, but we don't need to see ourselves very much.
Anyone got an objection to my front door?
No, not at all.
Ah,
Oh, there he is.
Not that big.
Where are you, by the way, Martin?
I'm just at home. I got terribly confused. I thought this was an online one. That's why I'm only the vice chair, you see, because you wouldn't have me as a chair.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Good to see you in bigger. You know, about 5% of my visual range. Okay, so are we agreed then? An autumnal scene.
yeah, an autumnal scene, but then you talk about river rinse. Do you mean an autumnal?
Oh, right. Okay.
But I would prefer the autumnal colours personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you could send us maybe 2 or 3 max options.
Yeah.
If
and
there's
then
an
we can-
autumnal colours with river in it,
It wouldn't, Yeah, might be a bit too early when it's river.
Yes, I think if you want the autumnal colours, we're probably best looking at calendar photos. And what
And then
else
you're
we've got on
guaranteed
file.
that Robin won't be in them.
I don't think
Correct.
it's too Robin. It's just that he does position himself to be in photographs of the river, it's usually, but because he's there with the fire, rather than the South Africa and so on, then he's killer. Okay. Actually, a thought that occurred just based upon what was being said a few minutes ago, and I thought about this before. Could we, when we have Appendix A in the future, could we add in the actual publication date?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah? So autumn newsletter, article ideas, bracket, publication at end of September.
Yeah.
Okay, so going on through then, message from the mayor, yes, of course. Past events, all of those, a lot, obviously. Current events, yeah, these are the ones that we put in the kind of buffer. Dog show, river and swan. Future events, market trial, events, play. Okay, all right. So that's 5 pages of events.
Can
Go
I
on,
just,
Margaret.
so if it's the end of September, then the dog show will have. Oh, it's strange.
We've already gone to print when we do it, so that's why it would be a kind
Just in case,
of event.
say something happened and it was cancelled, we don't want to put it in past events, but we also don't want to put it in future.
Okay.
Okay, all right. The order is countable page as usual, list of councillors and numbers as usual, events diary, etc. Obviously, to the end of March. Yeah. So that's 9 3/4 pages. So that leaves us 6 1/4 pages. Is it right? Okay. Of which 2 have got to be where the money came from. That leaves us, I think it's the bottom, 4.
Yeah.
You've got 4 3/4 pages. That's it.
No, you're right, it should be 4 1/4. How's that happen? Oh no, it's wrong at the top. No, it's 4 3/4 is what's required, and the total at the top should say 9 1/4.
Okay. Okay. Right, so we're now looking at what do we actually do? New deputy mayor, half a page on Anya. Yeah, okay. I think we should, if we're doing that, we should have the new town clerk as well.
Yeah, I think we should. As well.
I think you mentioned that below, haven't you? Actually?
Yeah.
Makes us sort of on the same page. Have the mayor's charities changed this year?
Yes,
They have.
yes.
Right. Okay.
And
Does that need half a page?
Yeah, so last time we did have.
the trouble is with the logos and everything.
You don't actually get that many words.
Okay. All right. Okay. So okay. So we've got new deputy mayor. Mayor's charities half a page. Mayor making civic awards. 3/4 of the page. That's recipients of the award. 3 people under friends.
Yeah. What? Yes, what was awarded at 9, I think.
And the free man.
Yeah. I said 3 people.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I'm trying to be gender free.
Yeah.
And the new town clerk. Okay, do we want one for Louise? How long are you interim for? Louise?
2 to 3 months. So,
Well, we open the recruitment process, so we could be in a situation where it's confirmed that's what was not.
Well, yes, obviously
Just
that would be
a
open
better
to
one to wait for the next one.
I'm thinking-
Yeah.
whoever is appointed.
Yeah.
Wish you well, obviously, if there was a.
I'm fine with that. I think it makes sense to wait.
I think what?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it makes sense to wait.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Okay, so how many are we up to now? We just consumed 1, 2 1/4 pages with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that leaves us 2 1/2 pages left.
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
so we've got an oversupply.
We do have an oversupply. We had a lot of requests from outside bodies to include something this time. Of those, I would suggest the priority is the fire service one. and especially given the last few days, they're looking to recruit more staff for specifically the Buckingham station.
So the fire service needs more people, and they sent some stuff away.
They've sent some stuff along. I forwarded that to everyone this morning. You can put it on the screen if you want to look at it, but it was too long actually, so we'll have to cut it down.
Okay,
But it's fine. They're very happy to work with us on that, and they've got photos and everything ready to go.
okay. Okay, is that agreed then? So we'll put the fire service in.
Yeah.
Okay, that takes us down to 3 3/4. Okay. We did agree at the community inclusion and diversity and
Yeah.
policy meeting to have a page on that
Oh, okay. Sorry.
organisation too.
Or half a page would be fine, I
I think
think.
half a page would be enough.
Yeah, when does
Because you and
this,
Jackie were going to collaborate on that.
yeah, so when do we need to get our, because it would be an introduction, a kind of mission statement and the new logo.
I think that we ought to be able to get that done by the time this goes to print, because this goes
Is
to
that
print.
going to have time for
early
us to take
September.
it back to full committee and make sure everybody's happy with something like a mission statement?
Okay.
All voted on by.
Let me just double check.
I think we've already signed that off, haven't we?
Not what the mission statement is.
We looked at terms of reference, but something like a mission statement, I think needs to be reviewed by everybody.
Right. Okay.
Let me just check what the.
We certainly looked at the minutes and agreed those at the last, well, I mean,
Yeah.
they were looked at by full council. on-
Yeah,
on
it's Monday.
The mission statement was something that only came from Jackie yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're going to work on that, her mission statement and add and subtract as needed.
So this edition goes to print at the, and my computer's crashed at the beginning of September. So I suggest there might not actually be enough time to get, if we're not going to have another meeting until September.
We wouldn't try and solve it out. It wouldn't have to get something wrong before then. I'm just wary about going a little bit too soon and having something after and to present something that's all been agreed on. Everybody's happy. It's all sorted and then
So then it's not going to go to print till what, the November issue?
It would be the November one.
Kind of hoping to get the kind of information out before then, so we can start recruiting people from outside.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of an
when's the
issue.
next full council?
October.
Can I just clarify? I thought that the terms of reference had been agreed. Revised terms of reference. We revised terms of reference at the meeting.
Yeah.
And I thought that was signed off by the resources committee.
If you're putting together a mission statement, I think that would be something
It wouldn't affect the terms of reference.
Because this is still only a working group, it's not a committee. And everything which went to full council on Monday, which was included and no one had an issue with.
I don't think it has any kind of official status. I would say.
No,
It's simply a statement of
I really-
ambition by the
Yeah.
people in the group, which the
It's
group
just-
itself is surely.
Yeah, just trying to, well, recruit more members to come forward and join and
I suppose
discuss.
from my point of view, I'm really, really keen that we as a council all see.
Yes, but I'm also really, really keen that we don't apply a different rule to this kind of group. We apply that we don't apply to other groups. We don't, if we make a decision here, we make a decision here. And if we then need to recommend something that's outside our window, we put it up to resources. Margaret?
Yeah, I just think that maybe when we see the article,
Yeah.
we can make sure that if there's nothing in it that wouldn't have already been dealt with either in the terms of reference or in the
Yeah.
minutes that we've approved. If there's any something that seems controversial, that's probably not a good way of putting it.
It's
but,
not going to be controversial. It's just going to be an introduction. The mission
Yeah.
statement is not going to be controversial. It's just going to be about inclusivity and welcoming people and trying to get people on board and join the group. That's all it really is. And that's the only reason we're doing this. So, you know, people in Buckingham have a space to come and speak and share experiences and help us improve where we can. But definitely whatever goes out in the newsletter is not going to be controversial at all. I don't see how it would vary so much from what's gone before full council
Well, what we
already.
agreed is in terms of reference for the group anyway,
Yeah,
which we worked on quite a lot at the meeting.
yeah,
I mean, obviously,
No.
Yeah, you have
I-
you have an
I-
oversight.
yeah, I absolutely agree with you. If you think we can get the group, which the group needs to meet,
yeah, probably, yes.
everything,
Yeah.
and that we can get that all done.
Well, no, the group was happy for Ravina and Jackie to write the article.
so we are going to work online through email with each other to just hone down on the mission statement and the logo. So I mean, most of
No,
that
I
group,
get it,
yeah.
but I do think if we're going to have a working group, and
Yeah.
we're going to provide that working group with a mission statement.
Yeah.
That working group should all be on board and agree that mission statement for the working group. Then we are
Yeah.
very much getting off track with this new things.
Would we need another meeting for that, or can we do it via email? Because the group so far is very small. It's just another 2 people than the people who are here.
I think we've been giving it too much emphasis of calling it a mission statement.
Yeah.
Our mission is contained
Yeah.
in terms of reference.
Yeah,
A statement, some sentence in the article that describes what we're trying to do.
yeah. An introduction. Let's not call it a mission statement. An introduction.
No,
Yeah.
we don't have mission statements
Yeah.
for any other than what's in the terms of reference for any
Okay,
of our
fine.
working groups.
We just have an introduction to the group and a logo.
Yeah, and just say
That's
what we're
it.
trying to achieve.
I suppose
Okay.
Please
I
get
get
involved.
The mission statement sounding very much like this is,
Hmm.
well, it's
No, I
a
hear
very,
what
it's
you're
a very formal thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
And we'll all get it round to look at in
Yeah,
any
of course.
case.
Yeah.
Of course.
So if there's an issue, let's not anticipate problems that may not arise.
Yeah.
Were you thinking a page or a half page?
Pages. More than
Okay,
that.
so that takes us down to 3 1/4.
I think you might have less than that. Sorry. So there was 4 3/4. One. But 1 3/4 left.
1 3/4. What I missed.
Or 1.5. 1.5.
All right, we run. All right, so let's be clear. The first lot are stuff you put in the first 2 boxes are
Yes.
11 3/4.
11 and 1/4.
11 1/4.
Yeah.
So that left us. Oh, right. Oh, that's where I went wrong. Okay, so we were left with therefore 4 3/4.
4 3/4.
Okay, so what's in the 4 3/4 so far?
The new deputy mayor, which is a half page.
Okay,
The new town clerk, which is a half page.
it's 1 page.
The mayor's charities, which is a half page.
Okay.
The fire service, which is a half page.
It's 2,
Equality, which is a half page.
2.5.
And then the mayor making civic awards, which is a 3/4 page.
Is 3 1/4, so that leaves us 1.5. Okay, all right, Margaret?
Thank you. Can I suggest that we prioritise the Vale Countryside volunteers, because that's just happened, that event. And almost, no, it wasn't a town council event. And also the litter picking.
Okay, I agree with the litter picking, because that's an initiative, although we still don't have something in shambles, because one got vandalised, didn't it?
I didn't.
Yeah, the one with the bridge over to the university. Vandalised and had to be removed. I understand. We're talking about
And there's also big group packs of litter pickers that you can borrow as well.
Mm.
We have 15 in, so schools have been borrowing those.
But can I express a different view on the Vale Countryside Volunteers article? I'm not sure that we should be promoting something that is effectively closed off
No, you're probably right.
to most of the people.
Yeah.
in Buckingham.
Mm.
And actually, we don't want to encourage young people to get up there with some line cutters or clambering
No.
over the fence. Because as we all know, the 2 boys or 1 boy
One boy
got
was
killed
killed, yeah.
some years ago.
Yeah.
What's this?
It's the area of land behind where the air cadets are.
Right,
That's on the left of Bolton Avenue as you walk up through the trees.
yeah,
It's fenced off,
right,
and the reason it's fenced off is it did result in one lad losing his life because he dug a cave with his mate, and then the sand collapsed on him and he died. That happened about 30, 40 years
Oh,
ago.
well ago.
So it's been closed off ever since because it's deemed to be just a very dangerous
Yeah.
spot. Yes, the history is interesting,
Mm.
for sure. But I just
You're
worry
right.
that-
You're absolutely right, John. Absolutely right.
yeah. So I don't think we should
No.
do it.
No.
So so what have we got left then? We just use half page up for litter picking,
so we've got one page left now.
one page left. Do we need to put something about the memorial test?
It'd be very grateful if, yeah, we could do something on that, because it's potentially very controversial.
Yeah, I know. We do it on a regular basis, don't we? We tell people to do it.
It's not been done for the last week. We have to get it back in people's minds what we're doing.
Okay. All right, so half page of memorial testing, then the question is what's the other half on? Is it on the market? Is it on adult learning? And that's the other options, isn't it?
It already says that the market will be moved to the next. Oh,
Oh, will it? Okay.
it says autumn 20. That's the one we're looking at.
Yeah.
Isn't it, the autumn one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So it's already been moved.
So we can't
This
do
one.
it again, that would be fair, but we need
No.
half a page, not a page.
That's fine.
Has Russell already produced something for that?
No, he's in the, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't hear what
Sorry,
you said, and I
because of
didn't
the
hear what
fan.
Bethany
Oh,
said.
no, he's in the middle of producing that article at the moment.
Okay,
Russell,
is,
okay.
okay. All right, so that means we're done, I think, with the pages allocation. Can I just, for the record, put on the agenda for next time, the next one, I think it would be good to have an update on the skate park,
Hmm.
because that would at least focus minds, and we've put something in there. And so, and I do think it would be worthwhile, and this may be an article that could be written by Mark or Catherine or somebody, about what Section 106 is. Because I think people need to understand Section 106 better. And I think we have a responsibility to let people know, because obviously we know it's been quite controversial in the last few weeks, etc. about that. And I've been having an ongoing Twitter debate with Ron about that too. So if I just log that as possibilities for next time. Right. Everyone happy to move on to the next item on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. Review and distribution of the welcome pack. You made a recommendation that we carry on with the local estate agents. That seems to be working well. And you're waiting on a reply from a couple of local agents who might be wanting to do it too. I'm happy to propose that recommendation. I think it's a good idea.
I'll second it.
Yeah, seconded by Margaret. Okay. Agree?
Yeah,
Agree. Okay. So that's great. That's good. I hope it means it's getting to more people. It seems it's getting to more people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Okay. Revised Buckingham banner policy. Okay. Any comments on this then? Because I think it's an interesting dilemma a little bit. I appreciate the work that's gone into devising policy, revising it and so on. Comments? I've got a couple of ideas. Ravina, Margaret? Oh. All right, what are you thinking? Martin?
Yes, thank you. Within the document, it's a little bit ambiguous as to whether to use cable ties or rope. And I think there are other ways of attaching. So I think we need to come up with some sort of wording that enables rope, twisted wire or whatever. We may want to use cable ties, or we may want to use Jubilee clips or something. But I think we also have to say, when attaching banners, that it has to be very securely tied so that it doesn't come off and then interfere with traffic, because I think that's the main reason for doing it in a secure way. And I wondered also whether we could put a small notice permanently secured to the railings where these go, so that when people want to look to, say, oh, there's a banner there, how do I get mine there? They would maybe see the little notice, in metal or something, that then tells them if that is a problem.
Okay, I think both of those are very good suggestions.
Yeah.
I can't remember, does the policy say they're not? They must be
Reusable
before
cable
removing-
ties.
Sorry, what was that, Martin?
Reusable cable ties, and then in another paragraph it says or rope.
Okay, all right, that needs sorting out.
Yeah, just rephrase that, yeah.
Okay. We also need to say, I think, that when the banner's gone, then they must remove all fixtures as well. And whatever they use, thinking back to your idea about twisted wire, it mustn't damage the poles directly at all. There must be no visible damage there. Okay, thank you. Rubina, Margaret?
Yeah, somebody who periodically puts a banner up for events. It's been interesting to, because we used to put one around the corner. We're not supposed to have it there because of visibility on the junction, which I understand. And I don't think anybody other than the group that I'm in has done that for a long while. So that's good. But I think controlling the number of banners is quite difficult. And I know I sometimes haven't remembered in time to get the permission. I don't think everybody's always been very flexible. But it's not an easy process from the point of view of groups that might want to put a banner up. And I'm sure a lot of people do come along who aren't necessarily within the town, put things up without permission. I know that's in the report.
Yeah, we remove ones that aren't official. Yeah.
We've had to take down a lot recently, so very happy to look at this again. We think there's things that need changing, but we definitely need to change the policy that we have because people aren't interpreting it clearly enough. And I really agree with Martin's comment about putting something up on the railings as well, because there needs to be a really obvious indication somewhere that we are in charge of letting people know if they can have a banner up or not.
Yeah, because people wouldn't necessarily realise they need permission, I suppose.
No, I think that's been a lot of what it has been the issues that people just saw other people put their banners up and thought, oh, okay, I can put something up as well.
But in this day and age, it's almost impossible to think that you can go anywhere and put anything up because everything is so leased all the time. I don't see why people would assume that they can just go and put up a banner in a central place in a town centre.
Well,
I think it's probably public property, therefore why can't I put up my thing?
Right, okay.
And I think some people as well who, especially I deal with, they say, oh, I've done it a couple of years ago, or I've done it before, I just thought it'd be okay. So obviously because they've had permission before, it's not just you have permission once, you can do it anytime you want. You have to ask permission each time.
Yeah.
I think that's people just being cheeky. Of course, they know that if they got permission like 3 years ago, that they can't just treat it as part of their own garden or something.
It's probably a degree of cheekiness in there, a degree of presumptiveness, a degree of not exactly knowing. I mean,
should we have a banner which says what, please contact?
Yeah, I think that's what Martin's just proposing.
So, yeah.
I think something discreet. We don't want to get in the way of banner space in a way.
no, I think you probably want something, black, for example, so that it matches the railing. That's clear.
It only needs to be clear enough for somebody actually physically putting the banner up.
Yeah.
Would have no excuse not to be there. It doesn't need to be visible from that.
No.
But we might need more than one in every sort of space, mightn't it? So it might be actually 4 or 5 to cover the full range.
We can look at different options.
Okay. Okay, the 2 points that I had was we don't take commercial advertising, but some things kind of look like a bit of a grey zone. aren't they? I mean, you know, if we're advertising an event, say, for the Buckingham Festival, that is for a paying event. People are having to pay for that, and money is being made. Probably gets ploughed back in. Margaret?
I think the difference is, even if people are paying, it's not profit. Nobody's pocketing money as a result of those ticket sales.
Yeah.
I mean, some people will be paid to perform, for instance, but that's different from making profits. Isn't it?
Okay.
I think it's a fine line because, you know, if you see banners up for something happening at Stone, obviously it's an event which is there to make money. A lot of events advertised are there to make money.
I suppose the argument is Stowe is National Trust, and therefore it's not a business making money for shareholders or individuals in the same way. But I mean, also this is all open to interpretation.
I mean, I think it should be a charitable organisation,
Yeah.
somehow officially, or just a small association that obviously wouldn't want to become a charity or something. But I think things, I mean, like, say, organised by Stowe School,
Yeah.
officially probably a charity,
Yeah.
but actually,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think we should, for example.
So there absolutely is a grey area. One of the things that we've had the most grey area issues is actually things that were out of boundaries, which Stowe is.
Yeah.
It's not in parish.
Mm.
In fact, most of the schools that have been using the space are not in the parish. So under this policy, they wouldn't be allowed.
So, yeah, I don't think we should be advertising private schools.
But there is a lot of private school advertisements there
Yeah,
in
I
the
think
past,
that's one.
and they're not within the Buckingham parish. I've seen, I swear I've seen like Beachborough and other places.
There has been a thing. It's partly because during lockdown we relaxed it because there was nothing going on. We're willing to be flexible about things. Not so much.
Margaret?
Can I suggest that maybe we write to people like those private schools that have previously put banners up, that we've agreed a new policy and it's only things within Buckingham Parish that will now be allowed to put banners up.
Okay, Robina?
So are putting banners up free?
Yeah, well, that's my other point. I'll come
Yeah,
back to that.
so I was going to say that if it is somewhere like Stowe or a private school, if we do have the space, if we had like some sort of fee which could go back into the town itself.
So
Remember, I think we're allowed to do this because what was ABDC and now is Buckinghamshire Council
Right,
gave us that kind of responsibility,
yeah,
basically because it got it off their backs.
Yeah.
probably, and they were happy for us to. I'm
Okay.
not sure that they would be happy for us to be,
Okay.
in the sense, getting
yeah,
money.
but then I guess we'll just have to be strict about it has to be within the parish, because I've seen, you know, quite a few years ago stuff for circuses which were somewhere past Brackley and things, or towards Milton Keynes.
Of course, if we're saying we're going to be strict about the parish boundary, that will rule all those out.
Yeah, it would
There are
balance a
no-
lot of things.
There are no private schools in our parish.
Yeah,
Margaret?
So assuming we say strictly our parish only, is it the onus on all of us to watch if one goes up and alert somebody
Yeah,
who can then
I think
remove
so.
it, rather than me go, I've told them to take
Well,
taking
we're empowered to do
something,
that.
some cutters with me of some
Yeah.
description that isn't an offensive weapon.
I carry her secretaries with me.
I do.
Usually for brambles over styles. I carry.
But-
So for the big banners, if you contact the office, if you see something that's not correct, and then we'll give them a day to go and collect it themselves,
Oh, right.
and then we'll go and collect it if not, because it's easier if they go and get it themselves.
Yeah.
And then,
Otherwise,
I
we're-
would ask if that would be the best thing.
Yeah,
Because otherwise you're going to look for banners and then they're technically their property.
yeah.
sorry, Margaret, no pen knives. And Stanley knives. And all that.
Rowena?
Oh, I can't. I was just going to say that I can't remember the last time I saw something advertised which was within the parish boundary. But I haven't really noticed too much in the last few months. But the main things are private schools and things happening at Stone.
Okay. Okay, What I'm going to suggest is that we agree this draft today. Hang on, Mark, I'll come back to you. That we agree this draft today, but we also refer back for other amendments to say Martin and others have proposed. So and then we look at another version of it next time, but to overcome the difficulty of not having a policy about commercial activity and parish boundary, I think we need to agree that today.
Yeah.
Martin?
Yeah, 3 points on this policy. One about the parish boundary. Of course, we are the hub, the centre for a lot of other smaller areas that may want to promote, because they are so small, they may want to use Buckingham as their promotion. So we may want to think about that. I realise the parish boundary is a nice boundary, but if we want to include all the smaller areas around us, sometimes we may want to include them. I don't have an answer or whether that's a good idea or not. The other one was, if we are going to just say, if you're a charity, but then you've got people like, that's dear to my heart, the pantomime, which is not a registered charity.
Well, not-for-profit social enterprise, say.
Sorry?
A not-for-profit social enterprise.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And charity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the third point, hidden within this policy, is a paragraph for posters. Now, I think maybe we should either have a separate one for that, or I don't know, it shouldn't come under banners. I know they're small banners, but they're posters. And we could then incorporate maybe a larger policy on putting them on our notice boards, or the policy for tying them on trees or lampposts and stuff, rather than hiding it within the banner policy.
Okay, all right. Okay, so again, there's your amendments that need to be sorted out. I agree with separating out the poster use of our notice boards is different. I'm not sure we have any jurisdiction over, do we, over posters on lampposts? They're not our lampposts, especially like the ones in Cornwall Place. It's on private land. I mean, people put things
So,
out.
I mean, if it was on our land, then yes, we could, otherwise we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but the only lampposts we own are the ones in Chandler's. There is.
I was just going to say, if we did have a policy about posters and it talked about sort of generically putting things on trees or lampposts, we wouldn't want to give the impression that people can call the council and get us to remove posters that are in places they don't like.
Yeah.
Because they might have got permission from somebody else. Of course, not our land, so we don't have jurisdiction to do that anyway.
And we have put posters on lampposts.
We do occasionally.
Yeah.
We try and minimise it, but occasionally.
Yeah. But we have put them up there, and on the whole, the posters which go up on lampposts are, like the missing dog or cat thing, or some very local things. But I think that should be separate for banners, because you have a point as well. If people start phoning up the council, are you going to send someone around to all the lampposts in Buckingham?
I think we should only have over our jurisdiction. I don't think we can't be involved in policing of posters that go up on random lampposts. But we should be controlling and managing our notice boards. And maybe if we need to do a policy on that. Surely there's the normal process.
I think there's enough information in here to say that if you want a poster in the notice boards, you have to come by this time and make sure it's A4 and laminated and all that. So I don't see why we would have to change that.
Yeah, I mean, Martin, is it that critical to separate it out, really? It just needs to be written down somewhere.
No, you could change. If I was looking for posters, I would search for posters where this is called the banner policy. So maybe, I don't know, advertising policy, banner and poster policy.
Banner and notice board policy, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Margaret, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I absolutely get that we're not in control of things that people put up on lampposts, etc. But we need to be much more smart at removing ones that we've put up, because I do see our own posters up for too long when it's gone. And I think 1 working week is enough. Is that sufficient?
I would say that's not a matter for us, that's a matter of TCNE,
Yeah,
who are the main culprits here.
yeah,
We're being honest, aren't they?
yeah.
We're not putting buses up other than down centre events, etc.
We do occasionally put things up for the environment, but you have a good, a valid point. And we do try and get them down, but sometimes when multiple people put up multiple posters, we forget that we've got one or two around. So again, if you see them and they're ours and they need to come down and we've forgotten about one, please just let us know.
Just
We'll
take
straight out with it.
I need to start taking something that I'm allowed to take out with me.
I think we can take those down. If it's gone past the date,
Yeah,
and it's our
yeah.
poster, yes, of course.
Mm.
Or somebody else's
Well,
take
look,
it down.
if you don't let us know that we're forgetting them, then I don't know what's going to do.
Oh,
So
right,
if you-
true.
If you let me know, then I'll make sure that we tighten it.
Okay, my other suggestion was that although it's free, could we suggest that people might like to consider making a donation to the mayor's charities
Yeah,
and build that into the process?
yeah,
They may choose not to, but given how wealthy the pantomime organisation is, for example, they might have even if it's just a tenner or something, would all add to the mayor's charities, which is surely a good thing. So I think there's no harm in asking them. I don't know, we could use the tried and tested and say past banner people have made useful contributions to the mayor's charities. So then they think, oh, perhaps I should do it too then.
That's not strictly speaking true at the moment, is it?
No, but I think the wording we can leave to the office. But
If we had a suggested amount, what would you think it would be
£20,
reasonable?
£50, £100, depending on the size of the banner. Because you do.
I think
do some-
25 to 50 quid is a reasonable amount to ask. What do you think, Laura?
Well, just thinking from my own group, that's well, it's money circulating because we're getting a grant from the town council and then we'll be giving some of it back. Well, they're going from town council to charity.
Charity, yeah.
It sounds like a lot of money to me, but then I'm old and value of money is different now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're advertising an event that doesn't have any income, then you might say, oh, we'll politely decline. You're not required to
No,
do so.
no,
But if you're like, say, the pantomime, which takes in a huge amount of money and spends it all on wood and material or whatever, or expensive AV consultants. He's missed that one, never mind.
No, I just wasn't going to rise the challenge.
I just think a donation is not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just this suggestion there.
It is,
They don't
yeah.
have to do it. So,
And
Anything from
oh,
10 to 50. Say.
yeah.
You could say, this service is free. However, if you were so minded, donations to the mayor's charities would be appreciated.
Yeah, and once we've got a few in, then we can say, previous people have.
Yeah,
We'll be truthful, obviously.
yeah.
It's like those charity pages, suggested donation from other people.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so what I propose that we accept this version, but we have a revision the next time we meet and so on. So I'm proposing that. Is that seconded by anybody?
I second it.
Okay, right. Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we'll look at this again, and you've been making notes. I can see, Louise, to take on board all these ideas.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Okay, right, moving on then. Dealt with that. Online updates. I think these are just things to note, but any comments about any of the content here about the various hits and everything else? Some useful data again. Is it data that we use? Does it actually prompt us to do things differently?
Sorry, which version are we talking about? Are we still on online updates?
Oh, sorry. I thought.
Are we on website?
Online
I'm
updates.
confused. Oh, okay.
It is online updates.
Oh, sorry. I'm jumping ahead. I apologise. Email newsletter system. Okay. Yes. We note the report. Agree? Okay. Right. Right, so existing appendix B, where's appendix B? From? Oh, I see. It's just the maintenance of the website and improvements we made. Yes, now you sent around the link on that. I've not had a chance to look at the website.
I've just had a very brief glance, and I like the fact that on the homepage you see what to click straight away rather than having to scroll and scroll. So that does make it easier for anyone. You know, it's a useful template for any type of council website.
Do we want to put it up on the big screen so we can have a quick look, or do you want to go away and look at it?
I'd rather go away.
Yeah,
Because
so-
we'll never
yeah,
do
that's
it
fine.
looking on the big
I
screen.
haven't had too much time to delve much further. I just gave it a quick glance.
There's
So-
still some big things in there to go,
Right.
but it's the general layout and everything is there, which is quite nice to look at. And they're starting to add the new content that we agreed in the, in the working groups that we did earlier in the meeting. So,
Okay, well, I would say let's task ourselves to look at that. So when we come back together again, which will be online, I think we have a better look at that. Martin?
Maybe to save time, then I'll just contact Louise with some comments
You do that too?
Right.
Yeah?
that
Good
I've
idea.
noticed already.
Yeah, okay, all right. So we'll all have a look at it, discuss it in detail, but the things we're going to highlight, like Martin says, straight back to Louise, yeah? Although, sorry, sidebar, given your new role, will you still be doing this as much as you have?
in one way or another, I'm sure I will be delivering this to the end, yeah. But there'll be other people involved, I think, helping
Okay.
more than a bit might have been happening
I think you're working
otherwise.
project leader.
Yes.
Okay. Well, between you, I'm sure you'll work it out. But, okay, fine. Okay, so you're still the kind of main hub for us to kind of relate to. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at, all right. So anything else about the websites? Any other improvements? I guess we're now kicking out into the long grass for the next meeting. Yes? Agreed? Any other things we've noticed? Be changing?
Can you just repeat what you said? I'm sorry, I missed.
Okay, the item says to discuss the maintenance of the website and any improvements to be made. We've got a new website being created.
Right, yeah.
So in a sense, we're dealing with that with the new website. But are there any other issues with the current website before that new one comes online? Anybody? No.
If anything does come up and it's really complicated to fix, at this point, we will be looking for a quick solution because it's not really worth the time to do big fixes on the old website at this point.
There was talk in the ECD, I have to work out what the numbers are, about having a page on the website.
Yes, so that's on the list for the new website, so that it will have a page.
Okay,
great.
Okay, great. Okay, then the next item then was to discuss the annual review and discuss the annual website analytics report. And my question about this, interesting, absolutely as this is this data that you use to guide practice?
Yes.
Right.
So what generally happens with me is that I rebuild a bit of the website at a time, and then I see whether it works or not, and then that models how I do the next one. So yeah, that's stuff from how the previous website has been working is going into the new website. Definitely.
Okay. I see that you mentioned some issue about the first-time users. You think there's some dodgy data in there.
Yes, so I don't know how many people have Apple devices, but with iOS 14, they pushed an update which has a different approach to GDPR to Google devices than most other devices, and it assumes that you opt out of all analytics unless you choose to opt in. So that means that if you use an Apple device now, there's hardly any data recorded on you by anything, which is fine. But about half of our website users do use Apple devices, so that means we've lost a really big chunk of data. It's the same for absolutely everybody, and actually I don't think it is making a huge difference in terms of what we're getting back. I don't think it's causing any sort of disproportionate things, apart from maybe to do with how page views are being recorded. But apart from that, I don't think there's anything else that's an issue with it. It does mean if we go paid advertising online, there's all sorts of interesting complications with that now. But that's.
Well, unlikely to do that. Okay, any other comments about the report? Otherwise, are we happy to accept it? Noted?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right, all right. We'll move on. Social media exceptions report that you put in. Again, very interesting. Hopefully everyone's read it. Were there any points that you wanted to raise? I like the exceptions report, that's worked well. Also shows the sorts of things that are important.
It was interesting to put it together that way, actually. I think it's quite useful.
It's not surprising though that a food fair would be more popular than the annual town meeting.
No, but it's sort of when we prioritise things, there's always an element of what we think is going to be popular, but also what we really want people to get involved with. And
Yeah.
so there's always more effort involved in pushing those ones, and sometimes it just doesn't work despite best efforts. So if we can pick things out for use for next time, it's useful.
Okay, Margaret?
Yeah, I'll take the point on that about the annual town meeting, but the public turnout was pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, maybe the people who want to come and talk about something like the climate emergency is maybe different from the people who communicate via social media.
Maybe.
I think in one way, the boundaries are different. So it's kind of unfair to compare a food fair to the town meeting, because also the food fairs during the day in the middle of the town centre where you have the highest amount of traffic. And because it was free to enter as well, you know, a lot of people coming through the park or coming through the town would automatically just have a quick look inside or on their way. So so it doesn't detract from how well the annual town meeting was.
Yeah, I think the clue's in the name.
Yeah.
Food fair.
Yeah.
Annual town meeting.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely not an assessment of
Yeah.
the activity itself. So it's the annual town meeting went really well. It was really positive. The event itself was perfect. It's just that the way it worked on social media wasn't the best way. So we will change how we do it next year to try and get a little bit more traction on it online, because there are people that will engage with it. In the past, there's been people that engage with it online that didn't come in the day. And this year we struggled to get people to engage with it online.
I guess we should call it something different.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Maybe there should be an element of food involved.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Free biscuits.
Because you know people love taking pictures of what they're about to eat and stuff, and
Yeah, I get that.
discussing those online.
Sometimes paying too much.
Annual town
True, I
meeting
understand.
with food.
Annual town meeting bracket with beer festival following. Yeah. It's worth thinking about whether there's a scope there. That said, I run an Instagram account where I take photographs of my washing up, because I figure every draining board is a unique expression of art. So I take photographs of it these days.
That is very niche.
Come to art in the
Very
market
niche.
tomorrow.
What?
You could come to art in the market tomorrow and take some photos of your washing up in the cattle muffins.
I could do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you could come with your washing up or draining room.
Yeah. It's not the bowl itself, it's when it's on the trainer. The various things.
I was getting excited. I thought I could bring my dishes.
Okay, so moving on, thank you very much for that. We note it and receive it. A review of the YouTube. Towns and events is the most popular. That's interesting. Followed by planning and environment. Okay. And full council is, I guess, overall the most popular. And I think what's notable, I think, from your report is the number of people who reviewed the video of the 12th of April meeting. For those who want to dismiss that the town is not interested, it was the most. I think this report will go through to the Resources Committee. They don't see the minutes of this meeting. What do you think?
This what should go through, sorry.
This YouTube report, I think.
YouTube report.
Well, I think it does make a point about what people in the town are interested in, so.
No, keep going. Sorry,
Yeah, no, I said it does make a valid point about what people in town are interested in and what matters to them as well, so.
Yeah, could we propose that maybe there's a report that weaves these three reports together, is what are townsfolk interested in from a social media, website, YouTube? Could there be some sort of report that pulls those threads together into a combined report that could go to resources?
So
So
we could. I had been thinking, and we had discussed in the office that in the future we would probably change how we were reporting on these things and bring more of them together so that it was less intensive doing all of the reports. So yes, we could do that. We could do one report that was a summary of these three reports.
Well, can you suggest maybe an exceptions report that comes to our next meeting? And then,
So there wouldn't normally be a YouTube or a website report at the next meeting because they're only annual ones.
yeah, but we could now suggest that a combined short exceptions highlights the things that Buckingham folk are interested in according to our web data. Are these things that these? No, I think it'd be interesting for the towns and events don't know that they're the most popular committee, for example, apart from the full council. But I just think that could be of interest to people. Margaret?
Yeah, I was
Right, I'll
thinking,
come to you. Sorry.
just going to check out, this is a subgroup of resources, isn't it?
Yes.
So the argument about, maybe upping the level at which we communicate with resources is a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are key from this, maybe from each meeting, other than the minutes, we should say the key points that are relevant to resources are, and highlight that. I don't know whether I'm making sense.
Let's come back to that at the end. Highlights. I think that's a good idea because I doubt if anybody else, well, given the struggle we've had getting people enough people on this committee in the first place, given also the way things operate, my hunch is nobody has read this apart from us. Yeah. So maybe put something, we could have our own press release, if we call it that, but to resources. Highlights from the recent CSG meeting were blah, 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 blah. And we just highlight various things like that. I don't know, I think we need to think about what those would be.
And similarly, if it's highlighted issues that are relevant to TCE,
Yeah.
what might not happen every time, but we could say, we could send for information to the chair, and maybe, I don't know how you manage it, but say these issues came up at our CSG meeting on the 20th of July, which are relevant to your committee and we thought we should consider. Because there are issues here, aren't there, about people engaging with events as well.
Well, especially because this is our public face, not in our entire public face, but a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
Let's come to Martin. Sorry, I've been ignoring you.
Thank you. I agree with all of that. For the top level statistics that we have gained, I'm not so sure we should circulate the analytical information from those figures. And I quote here that in one of the paragraphs, only 3.4 of females tune in. Now, we can't really verify that. And it's probably because somebody else in the household created the account that they were using on the computer or something. Possibly, maybe, but it may be right on the other hand. But I wouldn't want to circulate that, like that sort of statistics to other to the general public. Well, it is on the general public because it's on the agenda, but to the other committees, really.
Okay. Let's think about this under chairs items. I think it's worth reflecting on. Margaret?
Yeah, the other thing, picking up a little bit of what Martin said, I was a bit mystified when I read, it's on the, I'm not sure it's page, it shows it's page 20 of 25. The penultimate paragraph excludes anybody over 64.
Sorry,
Page.
which report is it?
The
The YouTube one.
The YouTube, yeah. The
yeah,
paragraph
YouTube report.
just above where I was reading from about the females.
So most
So
of
no-
our current audience, is that the one?
Well, it adds up to, I think that adds up to 100%. So if I logged into the YouTube or anybody else in my household did, we're not included. Why is that? Or doesn't anybody over 65?
This is Bethlyn's report, so.
No, there's not. So when I go and look at the analytics of whether it's male or female, or even down to the nitty-gritty of actually where they're sort of tuning in from, it will devise an age, and it will say this many from 2018 to 24, this from 25 to 50, and some of them just have 0% because there's just no, how they find that through what I can only imagine is IP addresses and accounts and what you've put in your personal information. It's just zero, it would be 0%.
Go on.
My suspicion on this, and I think it was Martin that said, I suspect this is who set up the account.
Yeah,
which is why 40% of 18 to 24-year-olds are the person who set up the YouTube account rather than necessarily.
Yeah. I can, yeah,
Go on,
I was about to say the same thing. I imagine a lot of people set it up for elderly parents and, things like some people pay for the elderly parents to have their Wi-Fi or buy the device or whatever and just set it up because I'm really shocked if, one of the larger audiences under 20s or whatever. So it doesn't make any sense on that sense. Where are the figures again? Yeah, I think it is down to who set up the account and who pays for the account, yeah.
You see, I think the way that they judge these things is not based upon any kind of actual data of who owns various accounts. It's based upon how people use
Right.
their when they're browsing. And I think the networks know more about us than we think they know.
Mm.
And I think a lot of this is based upon algorithms saying the person's gone to that site, that site, that site, and that site. They're going to be male.
Yeah.
They're going to that side, that side, that side, that side. They're going to be female. They're going to be aged this amount. I think those are algorithmic deductions from how people use their internet account.
Yeah, but then, algorithms are another area where they don't make a lot of sense to normal people. And if they're doing that, then the majority of time online is spent by younger people. So if I say, if one of my sons has my device and he's watching something on YouTube for ages or something else, and then I say, oh, I want to watch a meeting or something, that way the algorithm would put me down as a, young kid or something.
Well, can we find out? We don't know, do
I
we?
can look into it.
Let's try and find out.
It does vary site to site. Our website analytics, for example, are run by Google and they are extremely accurate.
Yeah.
Because Google knows everything.
I think, as I say, the sophistication of this stuff.
Yeah.
It isn't just cookies that get landed into your
Yeah.
drive and so on. It's a whole heap of other things.
With Google, you tend to have your own account, don't you? Whereas with YouTube, so you just have a YouTube account on the day, and whoever uses it is one account.
I still think we learn more than you think they know. Trust me. Okay. Okay, then we'll come back to the idea about another report later on. Any other items you want to raise? Okay, let's move on then. Okay, press releases, again, that's going to be a list of all that's gone out. There's going to be a lot more. Was that just because we've got a longer period?
It's because it's been a long time since we last had a quorum meeting,
Okay.
so
All right, okay.
we just added all the new ones onto the old.
It's a nice range of things that we're telling to people. Do we keep a record of how many get published?
Yes, I do actually. I keep a log, including where other people from the paper are interested.
Okay, it would be useful if that was on future report.
If you want me to add that, I can.
Would it be a lot of work for that?
No, not really. I'd probably change how I do it.
Okay,
But yeah.
okay. All right.
Let's use a
But I
different
don't think
colour.
causing you more work just for a whimsy, if it's something.
Well, would you rather have a description, or would you rather know whether it's been in the paper or another medium?
I think the headline's enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would say, agree?
Do that in a-
Yeah. I think just a headline, because we can always go back. Do we keep press releases on our website?
Yes.
I couldn't find them the other day.
So they're done as news posts, but they should all be tagged as press releases. So that you can search press
So
releases and they
then-
come up.
Well, hopefully the new website will sort this out.
Yeah.
So don't worry about our current websites.
Okay.
We'll sort that out first. Okay. All right. Agreed, noted.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. Change of meeting days and dates. Right. Yes. To receive and discuss a verbal report.
On the trial online editorial meetings.
Yes.
Well, my feedback from everybody was that it went really well. It worked really well for us in the office. I think there was a little bit of still to get used to in terms of using Teams and all making edits at the same time, but we will absolutely learn how to do that more fluently. So I'm very happy to continue with the idea of the alternate online and in-person meetings if the committee agrees.
Go on, Rebecca.
I would be happy with that, or if, always having an option to be online to a meeting.
I think we always have
Yeah.
that option
Yeah.
anyway, and
Yeah.
Martin's using it today.
Yeah,
Margaret?
Although you should quality wise more, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does, with a group of our size. I mean, we have to accommodate Martin's aging years. He didn't read the thing in detail, so yeah, we'll accept it this time.
And I don't find that easy, but I think we should persevere with it, and maybe even I will get my head around. But I printed off the instructions, and I've got them, so I would need to be referring to them, and it would probably take me a long while for it to be internalized enough to do it without checking the gut, without swallowing them.
And we're still getting used to elements of Teams, so I don't. Yeah.
Does it have to be on Teams? Can it not be on Zoom?
It's slightly less easy on Zoom because on Teams we can all be editing the document at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
can you
All
send me the instructions again, please?
Yes, do you have them?
Yeah, circulate the instructions again. I think
Yeah,
it's a good point.
please.
Okay. All right. So we'll have a screen where we're talking to each other and another screen where we're editing things.
Yes, essentially.
We don't tend to get involved too much in editing things. We do that.
We did do it on, well.
We did
yes.
a bit, yes. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, so the proposal is, and thank you, Louise, it's going on to 15.2, is that we now have meetings that are either in person, like this one, obviously, or we have an informal meeting via Teams to edit the articles only. Yeah, so decisions that we've made today, we can't do that online. It's not feasible under the current legislation, sadly. So therefore, some of the meetings will just be looking at articles and editing that. Others will be like this, or to store things up. So what will that be in terms of dates for next year as well?
I can give you the dates for next year.
Well, email those to us if you
Yeah,
want to know.
it would be more or less the same as the current calendar, just one day forward and then.
But which days and
alternating.
which though, are online or in person?
Yeah. So the plan was that once you've agreed, I'll ask Paula to amend the calendar, and then that will go out again, saying clearly whether these meetings are online.
And
Okay.
it's the key thing for me is Thursdays, not Wednesdays, isn't it?
That's better for you.
Well, it doesn't make it, as long as I know, I don't
Well,
mind.
the prompt was that you work Thursdays.
Well,
That's all changed now.
so originally another councillor who was going to be on the committee was better with the Thursday, so that was why that suggestion. But actually that did suit me better as well, because I normally work a half day on Wednesday, but I'm now going to be working full time for the next couple of months, so it actually doesn't matter.
Okay, but well, we'll see what happens in October. We don't know that. I'm going to come to Martin because I think you were doing it. Martin?
Could I just have clarification again? We are a working group. Does it matter
No,
whether we're
no,
on?
No, we're not. We're a committee.
Oh, we are a
That's-
committee. All
That's
right.
why this meeting is being broadcast live.
You see, that's why I'm just a sub chair. You know. Sorry, what committee is it?
We are. Lose my voice here. We are a committee, not a working group. Hence, we have committee papers, and hence we broadcast.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Moving on.
I was going to say, does Thursday suit anyone better here or not? Because Wednesday kind of suits me better.
Wednesday's the better for you.
Yeah, I mean, if no one else has a problem with it, I don't mind sticking to Wednesdays.
I'm easy either way. The only other thing is if my wife does something on a Thursday, therefore
Okay,
we're both out of the house at the same time. It's nothing major.
okay, that's
Um,
fine. We'll talk to Thursday.
But if it's going to get in the way of your life, then
No, I'm just, I just, on the whole, I find it easier just to put things in on Wednesday. But yeah, if Thursday works better for you, then we'll do Thursday.
let's try. We try it.
Yeah,
Let's try it for the rest of this year,
yeah,
and then we'll have some resolution to Deputy Town Clerk by that point as well.
yeah,
And then let's take another look at it
okay,
for the following
great,
year. That be
Yeah.
okay?
perfect.
Margaret?
My point would be quoracy issues, and if having it on a Wednesday or a Thursday means we're more or less likely to be quorate, I think that is the significant factor. For me, I don't think it would make any difference if I'm not going to be there on the Wednesday. I probably wouldn't be on there on the Thursday because it would mean I was away, unless there was some kind of function that I've been invited to, of course. But that would be equal between
Exactly.
Wednesdays and Thursdays. But if it's going to be more likely that an individual member of this group is absent on one of those 2 days, then that is a problem because, you know, there aren't enough of us to be flexible.
Well, there are only 3 more meetings this year. How many?
Until the end of 2022.
Well, there's only 2 more in-person ones and one.
Okay, no, it should be fine. Should be fine.
That's going to be, I mean, I don't know exactly what you're saying, Margaret, because the original prompt for this was Councillor Hetherington who couldn't make Wednesday, so we adjusted the meeting date.
The only problem for me is on a Thursday, I need to, it could possibly be a problem because I take my son for sports on Thursday evening, so usually we leave a little bit early and be already, you know, between 3:30 and 4 to leave. So
Okay.
that's the only issue I can see in the, you know, foreseeable future.
Could this prevent you from being at a future meeting on a Thursday?
Potentially, not necessarily potentially.
Okay. In which case, let's go back
I
to
think
Wednesday.
we'll try out the Thursday. Or
I think we're very happy to stick with Wednesdays if that suits
We
you
can meet
better.
a bit earlier.
yeah, earlier would suit me better.
We can start at 1.
We used to start earlier, didn't we?
I think, yes, we used to do 12 o'clock actually, which was too early.
1 o'clock, maximum 3 o'clock finish would suit me a lot better.
We normally
Yeah.
try and get it in within 2 hours anyway, but
Yeah.
okay.
So,
1 o'clock?
so Thursdays at 1.
Yeah,
Thursdays at 1.
yeah.
No, Wednesdays at 1. Oh, no, sorry.
No, Thursdays
Oh,
at 1,
sorry.
okay. So we'll stick with these dates,
Okay.
but we'll start
Okay.
at 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, agreed, I think we're
Yeah.
there. Okay, right, dealt with item 15, item 16, chairs items. This is the question whether we want to have any highlights to.
What, from this meeting? you mean?
Well, yeah, are there any things that we want to say on our agenda that is key points from this meeting or not? We were talking about it a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that was the issue about the,
Well, like TCE and the most popular committee apart from the full council, that's what's on YouTube. Do we want to have a kind of short report at the end of our minutes, which simply says that? Or not?
and wasn't there an issue about what resources should be aware of, or is that separate? That's separate.
Well, if it goes into resources, it's not buried in, well. I guess I'm married with you now, and no, it's going to get complicated.
Mm.
And I'm not sure any other committee does that.
Yeah.
You're expected to read the minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
because it's
use
almost
the
giving people,
documents that support it. If you want to know what's going on, read them.
because otherwise it's almost giving them permission not to read the minutes, isn't it?
That is also true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's knock that idea on the head now. Okay. All right, I don't have any other chairs items, unless anybody wants to suggest one to me. We kind of use it as an AOB sort of, we don't really have official AOB. Okay, right, let's deal with that. So date of next meeting is now going to be Thursday, the 8th of September at 1 p.m.
But I'm not going to be here.
You're not going to be here.
No.
Okay, all right. So it's critical that all of us are here next time, Martin.
In person.
In person.
Okay, I've got the message.
But should we be trying to get more people? Are we been around that circle?
We'll try.
And I'm
Should we just close the meeting
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
talk about it?